What's up, my people? Welcome to the Mind Pursuit podcast, where we take a deep dive to explore more around mental health. I'm your host, Masin Zuki, the Mind Advocate. I am hosted at Mint at Moa. If you're looking for a serene place where you can just be, relax, and enjoy the breeze, Mint at Moa is the place you need to be. So thank you so much, the host of Mint, for hosting me during this particular point in time. Now, being the very first podcast, I wanted you to get to know who I am and what I'm all about. So I'm gonna take you through a few questions that will help you sort of get to know who I am. I'm a psychologist. I love talking about mental health and well-being for general population, but I have a bias of adolescents and young people. I feel like adolescents and young people are my peeps. Like, I really enjoy interacting with them, talking about mental wellness together with them. So how I embarked on this journey is when I was in high school and even primary, actually. People used to really come to me. And let me just stay with high school. People used to really come to me to seek guidance, advice. So I was like, hey, this is something that perhaps maybe I have a gift that I can be able to actually support humanity. So when I finished high school, I embarked on a journey of understanding what counseling is and what it's all about, because I'm passionate about supporting people, moving people from that point of discomfort to a comfortable place, or moving people from that point of distress to a comfortable place. So counseling is a journey that I really embraced, and for sure I am who I am today because of the skill set that I was able to learn as I navigated through psychology, did my master's in psychology, and I practice psychology as a whole. So that is my journey as far as my career is concerned. Wow, my proudest accomplishment is starting off the Mind Pursuit podcast. This is a long-awaited podcast that I really dreamt of starting, and the time is now. So I'm really proud of myself to take up that step of faith. I am doing this scared, I am doing it afraid, but I'm doing it nevertheless. My heart bleeds for people who die by suicide. Actually, according to World Health Organization statistics, after every 40 seconds, we have someone dying of suicide. So that is a pain point for me. And now looking at how people are also struggling with drugs and substance use, people struggling with depression and all that. So those are the pain points. I was like, if I can help normalize mental health conversations, because that's where we start. When we normalize it, then people will begin to talk about it, and it will lead to reduction of stigma, including self-stigma, because when self-stigma is there because people have not fully embraced mental health. So I wanted to be one of the spokesperson, and that's why I call myself the Mind Advocate, to just advocate for us to have conversations around mental health. Be okay to say that it is okay not to be okay. Take mental health as a priority, because you don't have to die young. You don't have to die now. You don't have to end your life now. You don't have to hurt yourself. You can seek support. And when you seek support, imagine you will be able to bounce back. It's a process, but it's a process that is worth the cost. So that was my pain point, and the reason as to why I feel like I want to be a change agent to change that trajectory and contribute to reduction of stigma, mental health stigma, normalize mental health conversations, and promote mental wellness. That's all I'm all about. I love talking to deaf people a lot. So I'm very passionate around disability mainstreaming. I feel like it is important for us to treat people regardless of their age, sex, gender, or even their disability. We need to treat everyone as human. Yeah, so I'm really passionate about it. Yeah, and I talk a lot to deaf people. Yes. outside of work, I love reading. Oh, I love reading. Like I don't like I feel like reading is something that we all need to embrace, because my mind is really energized when I read books and all that. Like recently I read a book called Living in Financial Distinction, which was mind blowing. Yeah, so I do that and get nuggets that can be able to push me, in life, and tell me what I need to do to enhance, to build myself, because I'm a fan of pursuing to achieve my goal or my objective. I went through mental illness when I was in high school. So I used to collapse, and I didn't know what was wrong. Later on, during my counseling journey, I realized I was going through psychosomatic illness. Psychosomatic it means the brain, my mind, because my mind has to maintain a balance. Everyone's mind has to maintain a balance. So when the balance is not there, then too much accumulated stress can lead to the symptoms acting biologically. So that is exactly what happened to me. And because mental health is intangible, it's something like you cannot be able to touch, you cannot be able to see. It was very difficult for me to explain to anyone, including the doctors. So going through that journey, that is what really changed my life and helped me to actually be more of an empath. That's why every time I am supporting anyone who's going through psychological distress, I really want to feel the pain. In as much as, of course, I may not feel completely the pain, but I would want to immerse myself in that situation and walk with them through that journey, because it is not easy to go through mental illness. It's not easy. But it's one thing I learned, and that's why I say it changed my life. It gave me a perspective of, when you're well informed, you're better able to make better choices. Because when I became more informed around what mental health is all about, and as I am talking about mental health, perhaps you're wondering, what is mental health? And I will define it according to World Health Organization, and it states that mental health is a state of well-being in which you are able to understand your own strengths and your weaknesses. You can cope well with the daily stressors of life, and you can make a contribution to your community. So as you look at mental health as a whole, it's not only mental illness, there's also mental wellness. Yeah, so we look at it the same way we look at physical health. You can be physically healthy or physically unhealthy. When you go to the doctor, if you're physically unhealthy, you'll get treatment and you'll become physically healthy. So I would want us, even through these conversations, to begin to look at mental health in that perspective. You can be going through mental illness today and you feel overwhelmed, but when you seek counseling, when you're able to talk it out with someone, then you will be able to move from experiencing the mental illness to now experiencing mental wellness. So for me, that changed my life and changed me in the sense of I look at people and really empathize, as opposed to just feeling cold about the situations they are going through, or sympathizing, like feeling sorry for them. And that is what has shaped me, and that is what made me do psychology. So it's more within than without. Yeah. I really admired the late Miles Monroe. For me, oh my God, I really loved how he was able to relate with people, how charismatic he was. I really loved how he spoke of leadership and talked about leader, which is something that is really close to my heart. Leadership is about influence. So he's one person who has really influenced my life. I have Bishop Masinde, who's my spiritual covering, who has actually influenced my life. He has mentored me through and through since I was young. And he's a leader, how charismatic he is as well. So I can name a number of people who have actually been able to influence my life. Also, Kathy Kuna, who does Women Without Limits and is looking to raise a standard for women. So those, just to name a few, who have really influenced my life. I'm passionate about empowering people, being able to especially support parents to be able to raise holistic children. So how I look at myself is I stand in the gap of the frustrated parent and the misunderstood child. I love children to the core. I don't know what they do to me, but I really love children. And so children, adolescents, like they are my peeps. So being able to just empower them with the information that I'm able to have, that's what I'm really passionate about. And more so empowering them on mental health. From this podcast is going to be a journey where we will get to learn a lot. Like we have different series, we'll have different guests coming in different episodes, and I would want us to go through this journey. And what I aim for us to be able to learn together, because even as I am here talking to you, I do not know everything. And I am a firm believer of everyone knows something, no one knows nothing. So I'm also looking forward to learning from you as well as you learn from me, because you come with experience, you come with expertise and all that. So that having been said, I'm just looking to us being able to grow together. And that is why I called it the mind pursuit, because I feel like if our minds are our greatest assets, and if we are able to give priority to our mind and ensure that we take care of our mind, at the end of the day, the world becomes our oyster. We can be able to do whatever we want to do in this life, so long as we put our hearts and mind to it. So I believe we are going to grow together. I believe we are going to get nuggets that are going to help parents to be able to better raise holistic children or mentally healthy children. I believe even as individuals, you're going to get nuggets that are going to help you to even push you towards an uncomfortable place where you will be able to grow. Because growth happens when you are in an uncomfortable place. So this podcast is just to push you a little bit towards a space where you're able to push yourself to actually become the best version of yourself. And as a result, I believe you'll be able to live healthy lives. I hope now you've gotten to learn more about who I am and what I'm all about. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you as well. So feel free to also engage with me on the comment sections below, and we'll be able to walk this journey together. Remember that no one knows everything, everyone knows something, and I am for sure that even as you're learning from me, as you're learning from my guests, I'm also open to learning from you as well. So this is a space that goes beyond you just being a listener to you being a contributor, to be able to enable people to become mentally healthy. And I believe once you're mentally healthy, you are going to live a healthy life. So thank you very much. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.